In the last video, I've been talking about what got me into game dev, and now I was thinking of making a sequel to the video and explain the how. I finished the last video saying that I can't find many games that I feel connected to. I've been carrying this feeling for quite some time. I was looking for a game, and I am to this day, that has crime elements combined with strategy that you have to manage your resources. If you could find this game, so please hook me up, I would love that. One day that I was again daydreaming of the best game for my taste, I've stumbled upon a video on YouTube with the title "I've made a game on Fiverr for $5." For those of you who don't know what Fiverr is a platform that lets people with skills offer their services for money. It could be voice acting, translation, songwriting, you name it. There's almost everything on Fiverr, and I mean it. Even I used Fiverr to make a mod on GTA 5, and to be honest, it was decent. So back to the $5 games on Fiverr. While seeing on YouTube, I can't say myself that I would love to play them, but I do have to say that they seem decent. I mean, yeah, the graphics horrible, the gameplay is clunky, but you shoot, you kill the enemy, you need ammo, you reload, you run out of HP, you die. The game is functional, and it works, and it was only $5. So I delved a little bit deeper into that I made a game using Fiverr freelancers trend, and I've started watching YouTubers making games that cost larger sums, $25, $100, $250, and I must say, it looked fairly impressive. And that's when the light bulb turned on above my head. I asked myself, what is preventing me from using Fiverr's freelance services? Well, the answer is obviously nothing. I've already used it before for other concepts, so why the hell not now? And that's when it started to hit me. Why haven't I thought of it before? I'm a financially stable person, I work full time, I can totally invest far more than those YouTubers and probably get way better results. The saying "it's too good to be true" didn't even occur to my mind. I was so preoccupied with thinking how genius is it. I thought to myself that I'm going to make my dream game. I'm going to market it and get rich, and everybody's going to be so happy because I bet so many people have the same taste as mine, and it's going to be great, right? Yeah, no. But I was really confident back then. I'm also pretty confident now. I mean, look at my views, you can count them on one hand and I'm still posting. But you could say I'm far more realistic. By the way, if you're wondering, the guy in the photo is not me. I took the initiative and started scanning Fiverr's freelancers for a suitable candidate that will make my dream game. For those of you that actually want to endorse this game dev method, and it's a method even if you're not creating the game yourself, I'd suggest you do a deep research and do the following. First, I'd suggest you check the freelancer's dashboard or portfolio to see what games he makes, and if his style for creating games is to your liking or not. Second is to take under consideration the fact that the freelancer says he did this and that doesn't say what role he had in the development. There is a huge difference if he led a project or acted as an animator. And I've got a huge respect for animators, but it doesn't mean that he can create a whole game if he was only animating. The third thing you should do is to check the freelancer's reviews. If he has few bad reviews, that's nothing to be worried about. There are Karens out there that aren't satisfied with anything. But if he has a considerable percentage of bad reviews, that should raise a red flag. Fourth is, if you want to be extra careful, you can check if the freelancer has any social media accounts such as LinkedIn, Facebook, etc. But do not initiate a deal there. It could get both you and the freelancer banned from Fiverr. Eventually, I found myself a freelancer that answers the criteria. I set a Zoom meeting with him where I explained what I wanted in my game and how I wanted it. He seemed to be really excited, saying that this is a really good idea for a game and it could get me a lot of money, and one of his clients earned roughly $5 million thanks to the game he made for him. Maybe it's true, maybe it isn't, but after all, I'm not a child. Well, some will argue that I am, but still, I do understand marketing strategies and I do understand that he just wanted to get me hyped. Bottom line is that I want a game made and he says that he can make me one. We concluded a conversation with him saying that he will start working on a roadmap with pricing for each milestone. I said great, and he said that will be $100. It caught me a little bit off guard because I thought to myself that you're not offering me any product. You're offering me a plan to create a product. So what do you want money for? Even if you do charge for planning, $100? Well, I didn't flinch. I didn't know this world, not the variance, not the amount of work, so I've accepted the job and gave him $100. Few days have passed and he sent me the results. A document, probably made with the help of ChatGPT, which is totally fine by me, showing me a game dev roadmap in the span of 6 weeks that comes to a total of $6,000, no more, no less. $6,000. 2 times my monthly salary. Quite a contradiction to those YouTube videos I've seen bragging about how they made a game on Fiverr with $5, right? Immediately, I've told the freelancer that I will have to sleep on it. He asked why, and I wasn't ashamed of it. It's a whole lot of money. The freelancer understood and told me to take as much time as I need. I got into a slight depression, and I'm saying slight because it was pretty brief. I took this time to reflect and ask few friends that actually have computer science degree if the pricing was okay. And their answer was simple: no, it's expensive. But in the same breath, making game in $5 is highly unlikely to execute. Making games is a pricey concept, but I've decided not to give up after all. I said to myself that I'll spread this project long, and that way I could withstand the payments. That's what I told the freelancer, and I gave him the green light to make his first assignment for $250. After a few days, he got back to me with a product. I've opened it and found a character that is able to run around in a city. And I thought to myself, hey, look what he's done, he made a city. But further into my game dev journey, I understood that it was a pre-made city by Cinti Studios, which is nice, but it's still pre-made. As nice as it is, I don't think that a total of $350 worth a simple low-poly character walking around a pre-made world. I got back to the freelancer and told him with all due respect that I simply don't think it's worth it. He found it a little bit hard to accept, which is obvious and acceptable, and I was as polite as I could be, but in the end I told him firmly that I will drop the idea for now. What I haven't told him was the fact that while he did his limited efforts on the game I've ordered, I already started to sniff that something is off, and thought of plan B. It's important to understand, in the end, I've asked him for something and he did it for me. It's not that something was off, but I did have a sense that something isn't to my liking. Obviously, as you could figure, plan A was paying for someone to make games for me, and naturally, plan B would have to be, you guessed it, making games myself. What got me this crazy idea was actually ChatGPT. Nothing more, nothing less. I can't think of any person, as supportive as he can be, that he will come up to me and tell me, make games. because I have no idea how to make a game. I don't know how to code, I don't know how to animate, nothing. So I've asked ChatGPT how should I proceed, and the AI answered with the most simple answer that could come to mind. Do it yourself. I immediately suspected that ChatGPT was drunk, but then I remembered that he tends to drink in nights. For all seriousness, I did ask ChatGPT if it didn't exaggerate with my abilities, because of the simple fact that I have absolutely no idea what game dev is about. Just so you can understand the lack of knowledge about this concept, I never even heard the term game dev at the time. For me, it was always game creators. ChatGPT's answer went something like that. No one said it will be easy, you're going to learn from scratch, you will have no idea what you're doing at first, but that's how it is. The AI words echoed through me. Of course it won't be easy, of course things will be new to me. Why on earth did I think it would be easy? Obviously, the greatest game devs of all time had a frustrating starting phase. And honestly, everyone who is creating something has a rough start. Yes, I do acknowledge that it is more common to hear of game devs who either started young or started game dev in university or college. And by saying that, I mean that I'm starting a little old since I was almost 32 at the time. Of course 32 is not old, but by statistics, most game dev start younger than that, much younger. But coming to think of that, maybe my age, which could be perceived as old to some, can actually come to my advantage. My learning capabilities are way better than they were at younger ages. I'm much more patient, I can handle failures better, and these traits could come really useful when building a game. With ChatGPT's advice, I've started collecting data from podcasts and educational videos with the sole purpose of learning about the starting phase of game dev. I have been listening to creators such as Thomas Brush, Jake Sader, Bite Me Games Studios, and many other content creators that all share the same message to inspiring new game devs. Stay consistent, keep your scopes low at the beginning, and learn to cope with failures. At least this is the message that I've managed to understand, and maybe they intended to something completely different. My strategy was still a bit off. I did realize that I need to scope down and not make my dream game because simply I won't make it, and it could kill my motivation, at least at the beginning. But for some reason I still didn't really understand the meaning to the fullest. I did start my dream game, but with a really small scope. That's what I understood. I've decided that I'll just make a moving character that walks around and can fight against another AI, and I'll just continue towards my dream game. And that was a rookie's mistake, but not a fatal one. I got to a point in this project where the player can fight the AI and both characters have 4 attacks consisting on punches and kicks, a stamina system, health system, enemy strategy that falls back when his stamina goes to 0. At this point, I told myself that it's too ambitious, it's my first project and it's not fair to myself because I can't expect for myself to create a first game which is a 1v1 fighting game that should work nicely, because it did work, but clunky as a mother. I got to a point that I got what I came for. I've learned a lot and my dream game will come, but it's way too early for that. So I moved on and I came up with a new simple game idea, which is chess. It took me about a week to create a board with chess pieces with individual shapes, queen, bishop, etc., and to give them rules that they will follow, like which tiles they can move on, how can they capture a piece, and so on. Eventually, my goal was to make a functional chess game that will have multiple levels of difficulties, player versus player, rules and not buggy, UI, and characters that do cool animations instead of just stepping on one another. It took me about 2 months to come to the conclusion that I actually did it. I did have the ideas to add some extras, but I did remember the term scope creep. I released it to my friends and family to see, which were quite impressed, not because it's a good game, and if they did think that was a good game, they have really low standards, but because I actually managed to make a functional game. For me, it was a major milestone. I showed up each evening after work, sat on the computer, hustled some more, and after 2 months, I have finished the game. Not the most fun, not the most sophisticated, but a playable game, and that's what matters. After that, I've started working on the game I'm currently working on, and until now I am working on it, and everything goes, I wouldn't say smoothly, but I am advancing. I'm becoming more practical with each day. Even if in some days I don't manage to make that much progress, I don't push myself. Even if I have some bug with the logic and I can't fix it on the same day, I do some artwork and enhance the map only to say I got something done. Although I do know that most say that even if you don't get things completed in the project, you still learned, even though it doesn't seem that way. So guys, this was the summary of my game dev journey until now after 6 months. If you want me to get into details or give any advices on how to start, feel free to ask in the comments. Bye.